You! What are you doing here?
I might ask you the same thing.
Out now.
You feeling all right, man?
You should get out of here. This place is bad news. Pardon me.
Why? What's inside? Well, all right then. I guess I'll just have to find out for myself. No pressure. It's only an ancient, insane vampire of unknown capability and disposition. So about par for the course. This is a promising start. Certainly setting the scene early, aren't we? What? Cute trick. Can you also blow smoke up my ass? You there. Where is Grout? Is this how you treat all your guests? You need to be taught a lesson. Stay back! This does not bode well. I suspect this might be beyond my prescribed depth. And this would be the man of the house. Certainly invigorating those stereotypes. What's this? How old-fashioned.
It is quite peculiar, the happenings I've been made to witness for my supernatural longevity. I am thinking of one unfortunate phenomenon in particular, of unique interest to my station, both as a professional and as a sufferer of this vampiric condition. It seems the stream of time has begun to erode the moorings of my chosen course of study, for the methodologies that gave birth to psychology are slowly disappearing. I find myself in an era that overlooks the physical component of psychological pathology time and again in favor of the sophistic practices of Freud. Phrenology, dactopintilism, and the rest of the old guard has fallen by the wayside, its champions all silenced in death, with my unique exception. Would that I could make my voice heard again, although it may be suspicious should I return to popular medical discourse 50 years after my apparent death. No, better that I continue my studies into the psychoses in secret. One day, may I hold up my own cure as validation of the methods. I am confident no cure for my condition, or that of my beloved wife, lies within our figurative minds, waiting to be unlocked by the correct combination of memories recovered from our childhoods. And I'm most certain it has nothing to do with the relationship between myself, my parents, and my genitals. Sorry, Sigmund, but I choose to stay my course. In time, too, may your star fade and disappear.
And here I was led to believe LaCroix was the mouthy narcissist. Perhaps it's in the blood. But I shouldn't be hypocritical. Perception at once shapes the mind and rules over time. Time, however, erodes human perception and then in turn warps the mind. The mind is capricious, having various effects on perception, time, and the mind itself. With harmony, progress is made. The ramblings of a madman. This is going to be an interesting night. What is this? Some sort of twig? No. A weekapog thistle. As I recall, a petrified reed not meant for the hands of the damned. But I'm certain I could benefit from its shamanistic magic all the same. There we are. An end to one childish game. Now to find what precisely you actually did. In the meantime, I suppose we might learn more of the madness of dear Alistair Grout.
Another unfortunate casualty to tide of time, insane asylums. I lament their loss not only as brokerage houses for the breadth and depth of human psychoses, but also I shall mourn the disappearance of that peculiar environment present only in an insane asylum. That palpable atmosphere of blistered brains and churning bowels, the odoriferous mélange of freely flowing bodily humors, that gently rolling cacophony of distant sobs and screams, the muttered cursing at perceived enemies, and the blissful
wordy little shit,
bottom eye,
aren't you?
like a newborn babe discovering
My. Just what have you been up to,
I shall
dear
still
Alistair?
find subjects as surely as I find bloody sustenance in the night, but this climate, I fear, may
Your
never be.
blood is mine. And yours. It was kind of you to leave me such sustenance. Of course. Dare I assume the same trick twice? But lest I forget the definition of insanity. Right. I can see you're enjoying yourself. I'll leave you to it. You, on the other hand, are slightly more concerning. Let's team up. You can start by giving me everything you have. What's this? More pedantic speeches. I tremble with anticipation.
Often I reflect with great regret on the missed opportunity that was my infector. Had I been conscious after the attack, I could have stopped the orderlies from locking her in the roaming pen. What I would give for just one interview, a few simple questions of the plague-ridden woman who met her end that dawn. Of course, there is no guarantee she would have been any more helpful than my current crop of test subjects,
quaint.
mewling wretches. Few could be called enthusiastic.
More.
Given the nature of the
course
test, I
there's
cannot
more.
expect the same fervor from all, but a modicum of cooperation.
Just
would be
what goes on
appreciated.
here?
Animals. The
I
one
should
called
ponder
John
it.
went so far as to gnaw off his
I'll go
arm,
as
escaping
mad
the
as a
floorboards
hatter.
like some feral rodent. I still hear him scurrying about at night. He must be making an atrocious mess.
Against my better judgment.
My studies proceed at a languid pace. I'm mired in a foul ennui as my wife's illness advances. My subjects grow restless without proper supervision, but I cannot pull myself back from this black depression. How many nights I've wasted now, gazing from the tower walk, pondering the frailty of existence.
I share the sentiment, pondering the frailty of my own existence in a sharp contrast, which is this residence. I shouldn't be jealous, but I cannot help but feel somewhat slighted. But then again, I shall suffer through eternity with my faculties intact, more or less. So I suppose I ought to take my comforts where they're provided. Well, aren't you just perfectly in the way? I don't suppose you'll be a dear and move. Sleep, my dear. I do hope your dreams provide better for you than your waking nightmare. This is becoming overly familiar. You, clear the room. Good boy. A survivor. How peculiar. No matter. These results are unsatisfactory. Perhaps he had some ingrained resistance. Or perhaps better line of sight is necessary. And now I'm running in circles. Lovely. Further testing should yield better results. It's always the last place you look. Ah, joy. Following the breadcrumbs in this house of mirrors. Or should I say, madhouse of mirrors. What say you, Alistair?
After decades of solitary study into this affliction, I have learned that it is by no means mine alone.
What the?
Indeed, the city is home to an entire society
peculiar.
of similarly afflicted individuals with whom I've only recently made contact. They are an understandably standoffish sort, by and
does
large,
not
but I
make
have been able to
sense.
confirm with them that the condition is indeed vampirism, which apparently comes in a multitude of strains,
Of course.
each with a spectacular set of symptoms
House of
such as
Mirrors,
invisibility and
indeed.
even a sort of lycanthropy.
Let's run an
Through
experiment,
numerous
shall we?
official interactions with the governing body of this secret
Hypothesis
society,
confirmed.
I have concluded
How
that their
expected.
fundamental understanding of the vampiric
Now
condition is
where
woefully
is the
lacking
terror?
and mired in suspicion and pseudo-religious dogma that would make a Turk balk for its
cute.
strictures. Indeed, they seemed impressed with my studies and the eloquence with which I was able to present them. Apparently, the typical sufferer of my particular strain of vampirism is far from the vanguard of the King's English. So impressed were they that they even offered me an office in
Your
their
line
government. A
is
rather
mine.
high office by the sound of things. I believe I shall accept. If nothing else, it should provide a lofty vantage point from which to observe the breadth and epidemiology of the affliction so that I may move more expeditiously toward a cure.
Wordy twit, aren't you? Oh, I cannot wait until we meet in person. I might have to find some spell to shut you up. Perhaps something for control or possession. Food for thought. Around and around we go. When do we stop? Hopefully soon. Chaos like the mind can be understood only through the scientific process. Order, however, is only as good as the perception thereof. Time is the key that links the two and bears witness their ebb and flow. I do so love the ramblings of a madman.
I have accepted the role of primogen for Clan Malkavian, the dreadfully winsome label applied to the particular strain of vampirism I suffer, so named for some supposed vampire
waste of
father
time.
figure of old.
A literal
Or
monkey could
poppycock
solve
grown
these
from a
puzzles.
backward culture that seems interminably drawn to children's tales and the fiction of Victorian romance, when it should concern itself with the science behind their suffering. No matter, for I have taken this office for no greater reason than to advance my research. I must make mention, however, that even among my would-be peers in this governing body of vampires, the level of paranoia and superstition is frightening. Their intelligence is not the question, no, indeed. As they courted me for this appointment,
This
I had to
seems
suspect that their overtures
a
were
slight
hand-tailored
foreboding.
to what must be my obvious infatuation with reason, for the devil would do well to have such honey.
Oh, what the hell?
Even so, I could not help but notice the dressing of language
Why?
these vampire
Just
leaders chose for their
why?
song. Whether it is born of habit, from addressing their unwashed, ill-educated subjects, or from their own deep-seated beliefs, Their linguistic flourishes belie a faith in superstition over the providence of empirical reason that must be an all-pervasive theme in this society of darkest night. Damn it all, now I'm doing it too.
What is the purpose? Some sort of rat in a maze? If so, where's the cheese? What is the cheese? Oh, what's this? A Tarul fang. This heavy fang could only have belonged to a ferocious predatory beast. At least there's one less of these in the world. Helpful. Yet I doubt this is the cheese I'm looking for. And what next in our loony little wonderland? Perhaps a room where left is right and up is down. Or one where outside is in and night is day. Or perhaps it'll just be switch puzzles and the ramblings of a madman. Ah, but we're all mad down here. I do look forward to the night I'm not wasting time with more Malkavian bullshit. And apparently, this is not that night. Dissipate. Give me your blood. As to you, however shall I put you out of your misery if you hide? Atta girl. Any other stragglers? I think I rather like this gun. I may have to send my regards to Fat Larry. One shouldn't turn their nose up at the useful simplicity of the mundane, even as barbaric as it might be. Ah, one more breadcrumb. I do so love to indulge in these. What waste. Ah, I thought I had been quiet. What ravings do you have for me now, Alistair?
As I expand my dealings with the vampire government, I have encountered a disturbing new symptom of this affliction. Frequently, in conversation, I will hear voices
What have we
emanating from other
here?
vampires, voices that are not their own, but which seem to have
Interesting,
insight into their lives
but
beyond what I
worthless.
could gather from simple conversation. These voices seem to echo from deep within my fellow vampires, and I cannot be certain if this symptom belongs to my strain of the illness or theirs, for the voices are various and inconsistent. I dare not mention the symptoms of my vampiric peers.
I do
for
believe
they have
I've
proven
found my
themselves true
cheese.
predators to whom I could be loath to reveal any
Alistair,
sign of
you've been
weakness.
holding out.
Indeed, these voices have counseled me against confessing their presence, and until I can confirm their source, I will listen. The information the voices have given me ranges from curious to frightening. The latter case is especially true of one powerful vampire whose name I shall not commit to recording in the interests of self-preservation.
Interesting. And somewhat familiar. So less the ravings of a madman and more the mind bending and twisting under the strain of precognition. Your blood, if you please.
Hey, stop right there!
Pathetic. Curious. Who might be this powerful vampire who drives fear even into the heart of a Malkavian primogen? A query worth considering. Admittedly, I've yet to become acquainted with much of the social ladder, but still. The Volman's tongue. Don't make me laugh. 9s? No. Jack. Straws. The sheriff. LaCroix. An interesting thought, that. The mind is a maze, and mazes inspire minds. In the labyrinth beyond this door, reactions of test subjects to the weirdest environments can be studied easily with that vampiric invisibility power of mine. That almost sounds too coherent. Very well. What else have you to offer? Well now, this seems promising. Just how deep does the rabbit hole go?
I'm not listening to you! Shut up! Shut up! Hey, stop!
You just couldn't leave well enough alone, could you? This is what we're doing now. How predictable. I wonder, the people here, were they insane or were they driven to it? I'm starting to suspect dear Alistair Grout's experiments weren't entirely altruistic. But then, who am I to judge? A magician studies magic, as an insane man studies insanity. Though I like to imagine my ambitions are more sensible. Here's what I've been expecting. Where up is down and down is up, and his contractors must have been pissed. Well. Why is it that in a house of insanity, the most normal seems the most out of place? Truly, to the others, Alice must have seemed bizarre. What the hell? Is that... It can't be. Daylight. Here. At this time. And of course, it's blocking my way. We'll see about that. Give me your blood. Consider me unamused, but an annoying weakness. One which requires further investigation. What other tricks do you have on offer? What? How? Why? I need to stop attempting to make sense of this. I feel that may be the point. Yes, that tracks. I should be more surprised, but genuinely I would be shocked if it was something more conventional. Huh. Excuse my interruption.
They're coming.
Cute. It seems I've gained an audience. Interesting. What power have you woven into this madhouse, Alistair? I begin to see why so many here have gone mad. So many minds break under the weight of the unknown. Very well. What now? Ah.
Wishes and words sprout from the same seed.
Same seed, perhaps, but much different branches. And I'm afraid I do not share your obsession to relate with the human condition. Farewell, you complete waste of time. Would that be the meaning behind the clock on the bed? No, that's far too sensible. And is that another phone? It is. Your blood, if you please.
Stop doing that. Mother shan't be too pleased. None too pleased.
So much for avoiding the Freudian comparison, eh, Alistair? Predictable. I'll be taking that. All of it. My thanks. How quaint. Famous doctor dies in accident. 28 February 1925. The unrecognizable corpse of renowned shrink Dr. Alistair Grout was found in his burning cars that crashed into Hollywood Hills today. I didn't take you for the sentimental sort, Doctor. Just couldn't quite leave the old life behind, could you? Lovely. I wonder, did you drive them mad in some harebrained attempt to find a cure for your affliction? A curious thought. just as I had begun to miss the sound of your voice. Not yet. I don't think I will. Just what did you do? You've been a naughty boy, haven't you? Well, let's get on with it.
The voices have increased in frequency and direction of late. They have begun to stay with me long after conversation has ceased and are serving as quite a distraction. I fear others are beginning to notice my preoccupation at the vampire gatherings. I am thinking again of the particular vampire of whom I spoke previously, who I dare not name for my growing fear. If the voices are to be believed, then my caution is warranted, for they speak of his blackest crimes, both past and future. More than once I have seen the suspicion in his eyes and heard the distrust in his voice when speaking with me. The fear must register on my face, as it is all I can do in these moments to keep from crying out in chorus with the voices.
Curious. Who poses such a threat?
I am no longer safe. I know it. The voices have proven themselves authentic, and I have withdrawn from the Vampire Society entirely. My absence will no doubt draw attention.
Interesting.
No longer hold my fragile composure around the ravenous eyes of my vampire peers, especially not around him. The voices compelled me to make what I fear is a Faustian bargain, but I had to, for their demands are constant and merciless. I have secluded myself within the mansion. He will go to any length to achieve his ambitions, and he knows it, I know. I have taken precautions to protect my beloved wife. Her cure will have to wait until our immediate safety is guaranteed. The mansion was constructed with security in mind, but at that time I was not privy to the full range of vampire capabilities. The voices echo in the twisted corridors of my psyche, dark whisperings of a macabre and formless menace, the approach of which portends an end to all of this.
Yet the name still eludes your tongue. I'll have to figure a way to wrench it free. A man might drive himself mad hanging on to his past life as such. Oh, for fuck's sake. It seems your fears were legitimate. But who? Nines? But that doesn't make any sense. How? Why? What interest would he have with an isolationist? Oh, what now?
By the flames!
Grout's dead. Who the hell are you?
Grout is dead? Pity it could not be by my hand. No matter. Soon your self-made kings and false prophets and all who bear the mark of the beast will be washed from the earth for the coming of the Lord.
Who the hell are you?
As you burn, tell them it was Grünfeld Bach who sent your damned soul to that lake of fire. All agents of Satan shall return to whence they came. Let this righteous display serve as a promise to all who serve the Archfiend Lacroix. I'm coming for you, Lacroix. By the power of the Lord, I will cleanse your black soul.
Yeah, whatever. Phenomenal. It'll be a joy explaining this mess. Would you be a deal and help put out this fire? I appreciate the effort, Gold Star. Give me your blood. Impressive. Constitution of the insane. I need to figure a way out of here. The second floor. Your blood is mine. I don't have time for you. Give your blood to me. Shit. Perfect. Ah, fuck. What a debacle. Wonderful. I think the prince will have to wait a while longer. I need to confirm something. Why would Nines even be there? It doesn't make any sense. There's a large piece of this puzzle missing.
You look like you've seen a ghost.
Where is Nines?
You went to go look into something. Why?
I just saw him at Alistair Grout's mansion.
Say what?
The Malkavian primogen was killed, and I saw Nines leaving the scene.
Yo, that's bullshit. I don't know if you were put up to this old boy, but you best not be saying that shit too loud. I know what he's out doing, and it doesn't have anything to do with the Camarilla. They're not our only concern, you know.
I guess. Later. Hello, Jack.
What's all the noise, kiddo? What'd you say to Skelter?
It's about Nines.
Beg your pardon?
I saw Nines at the primogen's mansion, and now the primogen is dead.
I don't know. I don't know what score Nines would have to settle with the primogen. Nah, come on, this can't be right.
That's just what it looked like. I don't know.
This is a total smear job. LaCroix can't meet Nines head on, so this is how he's gonna shank him.
That's probably it.
LaCroix ain't gonna make friends on the street with these moves. Underhanded shit like that catches up to you. Usually gets paid back in creative and painful ways. Stake you with your own femur, you know, that kind of thing.
I'm supposed to go back to LaCroix. He wants to know about the primogen.
You do what you gotta do.
Right. What a mess. And why do I get the feeling I'll be the one left holding the bag? We shall see. I am curious how the prince reacts. Good evening, Chunk.
Evening there. Something burning? Ooh, smells like someone burnt the burgers.
Never mind that. I need to see LaCroix.
Sure, I'll open her up for you. Jeez, I could go for one of them double-spaced burgers with the onions and the cheese and some bacon and a guacamole. Ooh.
Thank you. Moment of truth. Good evening, my prince.
The primogens still haven't been contacted by Grout. I thought I made it clear that you were not supposed to come back until we had heard from him.
Grout's dead.
Grout's dead? What?
Who's Bach? He tried to burn me up, and he really hates you.
Bach! Every time I think he's lost the scent. So, Bach killed Grout to draw me out.
Seemed like Grout was already dead when he arrived.
Bach is a hunter. They stalk and kill our kind to appease their god. But like many mortals, their so-called faith is nothing but a conduit through which they quench their killing urge. Who else would have killed Grout?
On the way in, I saw Nines Rodriguez leaving the mansion.
Look at me. Are you sure it was Nines Rodriguez? Because if it was, the consequences... Do you know where this might lead? Do you really have any idea?
No. And I'm not sure it was Nines either. Something was weird.
It means... Under most circumstances, I would call a blood hunt on the murderer immediately. However, the anarchs of this city may interpret such an action to be a declaration of war. I do not want a war with them. This decision will take some time. I need to confer with the primogen on this. In the meantime, I've come to a decision on the Ankaran sarcophagus, and I believe that for the safety of the inhabitants of this city, we need to place the sarcophagus under Camarilla protection until its contents can be confirmed. You're becoming quite indispensable to me. So, out of all my available personnel, I'm going to entrust the retrieval of the sarcophagus to you. It was quietly delivered to the Museum of Natural History a few hours ago.
I'll go at once.
The manifest from the Dane shows there was a small box from the same dig on board, but it was listed as missing. Keep an eye open for it. It may have been overlooked. It's crucial we get the sarcophagus in our possession within the next few hours.
All these tasks have left me a little short on cash.
Yes, of course. Here. I can't have one of my representatives running around ill-equipped for their task.
So what do I do now?
Here are the keys to the front door of the museum. The sarcophagus should be in an examination room of some sort. There's a small security staff on site, but I don't want a massacre. Mortals are just as easy to deceive as they are to kill.
I'm ready to go, but I had a few questions first.
One or two, but that's all.
How does Bach know you?
My history with that family dates back to Bach's grandfather, who pursued me into Africa, where I killed him. Bach's father tracked me to London to meet his death. And now Bach and the Society of Leopold have followed me across America. They never learn.
The Society of Leopold.
Witch hunters. An anachronistic holdover from the Middle Ages. They are inquisitors, whose fanaticism has convinced them that their triumph over the supernatural will save mankind and secure them a cushy spot in heaven.
What's a blood hunt?
A blood hunt is a death sentence. When one commits a high crime against our society, a blood hunt may be called. It is then the responsibility of the city's kindred to bring the offender final death.
I see. I'm ready to go to the museum now.
There is a degree of immediacy attached to this task. Work fast. And, as on the Dane, you are not to open the Ankaran sarcophagus for any reason. Excuse me.
Okay. I shall return in good time, sir. curiouser and curiouser. Could he actually be sincere?
Where to?
Just drive.
It's a nice night out, huh?
Is it though? And here I thought I left the madness behind. Always a party. I'm beginning to grow envious. Mercurial.
Went downtown to get my fix. When I went up to the top of the tower, I could hear LaCroix shouting from down the hall. Seems pretty disturbed about the sarcophagus business. Glad I'm not wrapped up in it.
You're lucky.
Anything I can do for you tonight?
I need to unload some equipment. I imagine you can make use of some of this. Keep your nose clean, Mercurio. I ought to check on my own lovely ghoul.
Firefighters are trying to contain a flash fire in the Hollywood Hills this morning.
Well, what do you know? News certainly does travel fast.
By the time firefighters arrived, due to brush and wind conditions, fire officials expect the blaze to be extinguished within the next few hours, but are advising local homeowners in the area to evacuate. The Southland slasher struck again.
Enough of
this
this
time in
for
downtown
now.
Los Angeles.
Finally, you're back. I thought maybe something happened to you. I shouldn't even think such a thing. I mean, if you disappeared, how could I go on? But you're here now. I'm so glad when you're near me.
Calm down, my pet. Here, take me internally. I am forever yours.
This feeling. It's love. Oh, all I can feel is love for you.
And I for you, Heather.
I almost forgot. I got a college loan check today. Here, I want you to take some of the money.
Thanks. I could use some new clothes.
I'll try to get more, when I can.
For now, share your blood with me.
With pleasure.
It's all mine. Exquisite. Good girl. Here.
Several military units
I'll
into
leave
the
the
area
TV
to search
on
through
for
the surrounding
you.
jungle amidst concerns that it is related to one of a
Let's
number of
see.
Southeastern Asian terrorist organizations
Who has
based in the
something
region.
to say?
3 American citizens are among the missing. The Southland slasher struck again, this
A
time in downtown Los
sacrifice
Angeles. The body of
from a
Sean
friend.
Morton, a former convict
bishop
that was
is
recently released
sacrificed
for
for
good
the
behavior,
king.
was found butchered, similarly to the other
Meanwhile,
victims
the
of the serial
pawn
killer.
marches ever
Police believe there may
forward,
be a connection between Milton's
heedless
prison
of
past
the many
and the slasher.
dangers.
We'll have a full report on this story later tonight. Simon Milligan, host of local cable show
Oh,
Haunted LA, and his crew
Mr.
are
Milligan.
tonight. The team of the popular supernatural-themed program were filming around downtown Los Angeles, according to the show's producer. But friends and family of the crew started to worry when they failed to return from a night of shooting. No trace has been found yet of the Haunted LA team, and rumors by the show's fans speculate the crew met a supernatural end, though police disagree and have started a sweep of the areas where the crew was filming. A massive
I
gelatinous
look forward to
creature
the
that
day
washed up
when
on
my
the beaches of
exploits
Providence, Rhode
are
Island,
not
has
in the
scientists scratching their
news.
heads. Found by a jogger early on Tuesday morning who says he smelled it a mile away. The mystery creature...
So if a king is a piece on the board, whose hand moves the pieces? An interesting thought.
Need a ride?
Sure, let's go for a ride. I'll tell you when to stop. Stealing a sarcophagus from a museum. Harrison Ford would be pissed. Let's see if they got this much right for a change. I half expected needing to climb the roof. There seems to be a substantial security presence. This sarcophagus has drawn far too much attention of late. What the hell? Damned funny. You scared the crap out of the cleaning crew. Now would you put the damned raptor back in the exhibit? Oh, and don't leave your keys lying around or Marshall will fire your ass. Worth consideration. Substantial indeed. I wonder, have there been other attempts? Or is this museum just that paranoid? Fucking hell. This would be so much simpler if the ability to obfuscate were among my many traits. Alas. Dare I? Somehow this is one of the more believable things I've experienced tonight. Yet more. How many of you are wandering the graveyard? How much is being wasted for you to do so? I say as I break in with the intent to pilfer. I-L-U-V-G-A-B-E. Lovely. Just a reminder, Dr. Anders Johansson, aka the sarcophagus guy, will be working at the museum for the next few days. Show him the professional courtesy we show all our guests. CM. That statue on Dell's workstation is creeping me out. I was working late the other night and I swear I thought I saw it move. This isn't another gag, is it? If it is, I don't think it's funny. Ham. Or spam? Ah. Those keys you found, they're Larry's. I'll tell him you left them in the lost and found. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. Enjoy a deep and dreamless slumber. As promised. Quite the intricate setup. Hopefully you'll remain out for a while. Excellent. With luck, the basement will be a slight less guarded. But then, I've rarely been so lucky of late. You really ought to not keep your prescription out in the open. You never know who might take it. Sleep for me. Good boy. Really ought to do something about that. Wouldn't want my face on any damning recordings. That answers that. Is it better to be skilled or lucky? Let's get to work. P-T-E-R-O-D-A-C-T-A-Y-L. Excellent. V-E-L-O-C-I-R-A-P-T-O-R. I should have guessed that. But what have we here? I might make use of this. Sleep. I believe I know someone that's looking for you. Something about omelets and eggs. You'll forgive me, I'm sure. Keisha will be so proud. No wonder there's so much physical security. Nobody can even contain their damn keys. Let's see what we can see. IHATEMYGOB. Can relate. FYI, I'll be showing Dr. Johansson around personally. I think he'd prefer not to be pestered by the junior staff. Of course, if you have a question, I'll try to ask him it for you. CM. Relax, Pam. I had to move the statue into another office. Oh, and it told me to say hi. In keeping with good security practices, we have changed the code for Area B2 to 2358, effective immediately. I encourage all of you to change our email passwords as well, if you haven't done so in the last 3 months. I repeat, little wonder the need for so much physical security. These idiots have no concept of OPSEC. Sleep for me. Now, what else is there to find? Ah, fancy. Marshall changed the code again. He's on such a power trip. I think you're right. He managed to send it to everyone but you. Again. Not that you ever check your mail anyway. The code's 2358. You owe me lunch. I'll admit, I'm beginning to feel a mite famished myself. Anything else? Any other grand surprises? Of course. What the hell? I tire of this. All this technology, all this expense, brought to heel by a fucking axe. A haunted axe, mind you. But an axe nonetheless. I'm beginning to think I missed my calling as a high-end cat burglar. Not to say they made it particularly difficult. What? Where the hell?
I can't understand why someone would go through the trouble of stealing a box with a very ancient corpse. This city's not that dull.
Beckett? What are you doing here?
I'm an archaeologist, so I thought I'd indulge in a quick study of this Ankaran sarcophagus everyone's so riled up about. My guess, from what I've read about it, is that it's a mummified Mesopotamian king. I needed confirmation.
What happened to the Ankaran sarcophagus?
Since it's missing, I'm inclined to believe it was stolen, or intentionally misplaced, if you like. Clearly, though, it's not here.
Who stole it?
Interesting choice of words. Weren't you here to take it away? Wouldn't that make you an attempted thief?
Do you know who stole it or not?
Every supernatural creature in Los Angeles is suspect, as are most human thieves. I suppose we may want to question magicians as well.
Did you get to examine it at all?
Oh, I really wish I had. All this speculation about the sarcophagus containing an antediluvian and being a portent of Gehenna is making me cringe. These are the kinds of ridiculous, superstitious assumptions I came here to debunk.
Antediluvians?
No one I know has ever met one, but each of the clans and their bloodlines supposedly trace their origin to an original vampire, an antediluvian. Some swear these grandsires still exist into the present, but then kindred and kind believe a lot of strange things.
And Gehenna?
Armageddon, doomsday, the end of all kindred. It's a common facet of most mythologies. Fear that the world will end. Many believe Cain and the antediluvians will return to consume or destroy all kindred. I wholeheartedly disagree.
Is that so? Why do you disagree?
As I said, many cultures have the fear of some form of apocalypse. Kindred believed in these stories when they were human, and naturally carried them over into kindred myth. But it doesn't take a supernatural act to cause widespread destruction. Humans and kindred are just as capable of managing their own destruction as a deity. A self-realized Gehenna warrants more vigilance than a god-induced one, don't you agree? Such is my argument, which so frequently falls on deaf ears.
Are there any other signs of Gehenna?
What prophecy doesn't have vague, apocryphal signs? Let's see. The usual ones cited are the appearance of thin bloods, Cain sightings, doom, gloom, that route.
Cain.
Cain is the biblical first kindred and founder of the mythological first city, Enoch, a place where kindred and kine coexisted. I believe Cain's a figure concocted to personify the transition from nomadic society to agrarian society. That myth, like most, has been twisted by time.
Can you tell me more about Thin Bloods?
Thin Bloods rarely exhibit features or powers of their clan, and many can't embrace. Some are even rumored to have reproduced. Many kindred are terrified that their weak blood heralds the dissipation of every bloodline. Somewhat of an ignorant reactionary response, don't you think?
This is all fascinating stuff. How long have you been studying kindred lore?
For 300 years I've been trying to determine the function of our existence, the kindred's role in the world. I'm not content to attribute it to some act of supernatural biblical vengeance. We exist for a reason, and if it takes another 300, I'll figure it out. Any thoughts?
We're a predatory species, like lions.
Yes, I've heard that theory before. It certainly seems plausible, but there's little proof to support it. Still, it's a better explanation than a divine sentence for manslaughter.
I really don't know.
My sentiments exactly, but there's time to rectify that. Well, my work here is stolen away into the night. Think I'll do the same.
Goodbye, Beckett.